Okay, it has been confirmed that Watford have sacked Nigel Pearson. He is the third permanent manager Watford have had this season, and when he took over, they were 8 points from safety at the bottom of the Premier League. They're now 3 points above the relegation zone. And yes, they are in a relegation dogfight, but I do believe Watford are far better than the teams below them, including Norwich, who have already been relegated. Um, but the managerial instability is part of the reason why Watford are where they are. They have gone through a lot of managerial changes since they've been back in the Premier League. And they got to an FA Cup final and were soundly beaten by a better Man City side. There's no debating that. They haven't fully recovered from that defeat in the FA Cup final. That FA Cup semi-final against Wolves was a brilliant display by Watford. They just couldn't carry on that momentum past that FA Cup semi-final last season. It has been a very difficult 12 months for Watford, but 3 managerial changes is not going to help the situation and not going to breed stability and growth of these players. That's 3 different voices that player group has heard this season. And yes, there has been the coronavirus shutdown, so there was 2 months with no football. Fine, but if in a 12-month period you've had 3 full-time appointments as manager, that is crazy. 9 times out of 10, Chelsea notwithstanding, managerial changes like this, the chopping and changing, does not bring you success. The clubs that generally get relegated or struggle in leagues have multiple managerial changes. And to have 3 permanent managers in a season, that is mental. Technically 4 managers in a season, with Mullins taking over as interim for the last 2 games. If at the end of the season, the board and the ownership have a review and go, right, Nigel Pearson, you're not the right guy, but thank you very much for keeping us up, that's a different argument altogether. But what manager is wanting to get into that dugout? What manager is going to want to go, Watford, that's a club I want to manage because what reason? There's no job security at Watford with the current ownership and the way the club is run. They have gone through so many managers, it is unbelievable. They rotate them regularly. And I can't see that being a sustainable model of success going forward. They have struggled this season. It's a known fact. They have struggled this season. They haven't really got over that FA Cup final defeat. I think that was a massive hammer blow for the club, and they have struggled all season. Nigel Pearson is the reason why they're outside the relegation zone right now. When he took over, they were dead certs to go down. Now it's not a given. They may not stay up, but to do that with 2 games remaining is a ridiculous decision by the Watford board and the Watford ownership group. But they have been doing this since they've been back in the Premier League. Just look at the amount of managerial appointments and sackings Watford have had since they've been back in the Premier League in the last few seasons. It is ridiculous. There is no way to run a club. And those players that play for Watford, they're hearing a different voice every three to 6 months. It's not sustainable. It's not a sustainable way to go forward. You look at the clubs that have been successful this season. Jurgen Klopp, long-term manager at Liverpool now. He's won trophies. Man City with Guardiola. He's been there several seasons. Lampard at Chelsea. He's had a whole season. It's his first season. He's got to an FA Cup final. Mikel Arteta, ex-player and ex-coach with Man City, ex-player with Arsenal. He started to stabilise the situation. Things got tough for these clubs at times over their history. They're not chopping and changing. They're at the top of the table for a reason. Brendan Rodgers, Leicester, stabilised the situation. Look where they are now. They're at the top end of the table. Bottom end of the table. Managerial change around. Bournemouth have been with Eddie Howe for a very long time. He's the longest serving manager in the Premier League. Maybe his course is run with Bournemouth and they've run their course in the Premier League for now. But he's been with them a long period of time. And until this season, Bournemouth were a pretty solid Premier League side. Has the course been run with them? Quite possibly. Watford, 3 managers in the season, now on their 4th manager this season. Madness. And it's only a temporary manager for 2 games. Who is going to go in there to replace Nigel Pearson and get involved in a club that's clearly next season going to be involved in a relegation battle? I have no doubt on that. To change that club around, you need managerial stability, and that is something that Watford do not have. But anyway, we'll leave that there. Place your thoughts below. If you are a Watford fan, how do you feel about this? But for now, thank you very much for watching. I'll have some more videos for you very, very soon.